Whenever
you're ready, Mayor.
Okay. All right, we're going to call this agenda meeting to order. Ask everyone to stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Almighty God, bless our nation and make it faithful to the ideals of freedom and justice and brotherhood for all who make it great. Be close to our municipal leaders. Give us vision and courage as we ponder decisions affecting the welfare of our citizens and the future of the cities. Make us more intensely aware of our heritage, realizing not only our right, but also our duties and responsibilities as citizens. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. This morning we're going to have an agenda meeting, which is going to immediately be followed by an administrative workshop. Right now we're just going to go over the agenda items for the June 13th regular commission meeting. June 13th? Can I take the roll? Do you take the roll? Do you have? Go ahead, take a roll call.
Nightinger.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Thompson. Here. Reed.
Here.
Penny.
Here. Okay, thank you. All right, well, our first item coming up for for next week's meeting will be a public hearing and quasi-judicial. So I guess we were in both hats that night. Consideration of an application for variance from Jeffrey Lamanco, Morris and Associates, LLC, for 1198 Pasadena Avenue South. Looks like there's another consideration from the same gentleman and associates for the same address, but this is for a special exception. And then we have a consideration of an application for special exception from Gulfport Marina, LLC, at 6810 Gulfport Boulevard South in South Pasadena. I guess everybody's fine with this staying on, so we can discuss this further. Our next portion will be a public hearing, and this will be ordinance number 2023-02, which will be an ordinance of the City of South Pasadena, Florida, amending ordinance number 2022-02, the city's 2022-2023 fiscal budget, to reflect financing terms in conformity with the Capital Improvement Revenue Bond Series 2023 and the estimated fire station construction and land purchase cost and contracted cost on resurfacing and reclaimed water transmission main replacement, providing for an effective date. This will be the second and final reading next week. We also have under the consent agenda, we're going to approve the minutes from May of 2023. And then under new business, we'll have a motion to authorize myself as mayor to execute an amendment to the traffic signal maintenance and compensation agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation, and another motion for the mayor to execute the Emergency Medical Services Program Field Internship Agreement with St. Petersburg College, which that sounds very good. I like that. So I guess everybody's fine with the agenda items. Is there anything further from the clerk? No? Okay, all right. Well, we will adjourn this meeting and move down to the administrative workshop. papers today. All right. Then we'll call the workshop to order and ask Carly to call the roll one more time.
Nidinger,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Thompson. Here. Reed.
Here.
Penny.
Here. So, first item on the agenda is we're going to talk about the comprehensive plan update. Who's got that?
That would be Terry and Louis Cerna from Calvin Giordano and Associates.
Come on in. How you doing today?
Good morning, Commissioners.
All right.
Louis Cerna with Calvin Giordano and Associates. The city is required, as you know, to update its comprehensive plan every 7 years. So this is the required update to the comp plan. Primarily, we need to make sure the comp plan is in compliance with the latest state regulations. We also want to make sure it's consistent with the comp plans of the county and Forward Pinellas, and that it meets whatever your requirements are. And I'll just hit the highlights. We do want to get this to the state as soon as possible. We do need to transmit this in order for the comp plan to remain in compliance. So we've identified some big issues that I'll just hit. The first is on page 35. We've added a number of policies that you'll see underlined, starting with section policy 603 of the conservation element. These are required policies to address sea level rise. That's a state requirement. And then I'll jump over to, and we can come back to these, to page, I don't see the very end of the document, the property rights element. This is another requirement that the state required, that all comprehensive plan add a property rights element. It doesn't have a page number. It's like the last page of the text. And those are the primary changes. We've been working also on updating the data that supports the comprehensive plan, and we will get that to you for your approval and consideration. But we do need to get the actual goals, objectives, and policies to the state. So we thought it best to bring this forward, and then we'll bring the data to you for your records and for your consideration. We've also identified a number of map inconsistencies that need to be fixed. We will bring these also at a later date. But again, we just want to get the basics to the state. With that, I'd be glad to answer any of your questions that you have. I identified the two major sections of change. If there's anything else that you'd like added or considered, we'd be glad to address
These
that.
the only changes,
Yes.
except for minor stuff.
There
I saw in
may,
the
yeah, there's
beginning,
some minor,
like
there's some,
names and
Spelling things and objectives.
dates, stuff like that.
Differences as far
And
as
now,
naming.
and both the sections you showed us on 35 and on at the end, under the property rights, these are just items that are required by the state?
yes,
Okay,
correct.
so it's not really something we can say no to anyway, it sounds like.
You can adjust the policies, but yeah, you are required to have policies that address these issues.
Okay.
And we will correct the page numbers too at the end. I noticed the property rights element doesn't have a page number, but
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on this on the commission? I don't see anything at this point that I'm questioning. When do you have to get this in? Is there like what's the deadline date?
yeah, the deadline is passed.
Okay.
We've cleared that with the state, but the only penalty that gives to the city is that you can't make any more amendments to your comp plan, city-initiated amendments, until this gets in. So yeah.
Okay.
Sort of puts things on hold, but I don't think you have anything pending. Like I said, we do want to correct some map inconsistencies. We do plan on moving that forward after this gets transmitted.
So, Carly, is this gonna have to go before a regular commission meeting?
I believe so, yes.
So, and I guess that won't be next week, then it'll be
If we can add it to next Tuesday?
It has to be advertised as an ordinance.
Well, but I mean, so it could go for first reading next Tuesday.
Yeah, first reading, and then typically it'll get transmitted to the state. if they have they'll let us, they have 30 days to review it, they'll get it back to us, and then that's when the second reading will be after the
So
state.
for for first reading, you think you'll have everything adjusted by then? We can see all the different changes and whatever else, or little minor things?
The minor changes will be corrected. Again, the maps will bring at a later date. You'll probably want to have some more discussion on those items.
Okay, all right.
So is there any penalty for us being late with this?
No, it just puts things, any other changes that you have to your comp plan on hold, which
Wait
I
till it
think you're
gets
good with.
approved, and then we can redo everything
Staff
else,
had
if we wanted to.
communicated, we had communicated with the state before.
Right, yeah.
They're aware, we discussed all of that with them. It's, they know. So,
You got a question? Oh, okay. Just saw that look on your face. Yeah. Okay, I guess we got consensus, this is fine for, and then we'll look at it once the little minor things are done. And possibly, if you guys could just provide something that just says, go to what page where the changes are made, that kind of thing for us.
Yes.
So we can find it easier.
We'll have a memo, that just.
A red line or whatever, something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Point you to the right sections.
Okay. All right. Everybody's good? We're good?
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is going to be department head reports. And I guess we will start with CID. Get that exercise in there. So, I like the format of your report. So, we talked about that earlier.
Thank you.
Um,
Didn't think anybody would notice.
Has anything been updated more since you've sent this out to us, or?
No, not that I can think of. I'm sure we've issued some more permits and things, but,
We've got some new homes coming into Causeway Village, and,
Is it
yes.
just filling up the empty lots that are there?
I think most of them are just filling up empty ones. I don't believe there's any that are being removed. I don't think. I'd have to. It's been a while since I did
Yeah, they had a bunch empty for a while. Empty lots, so that's good.
that. So,
Man, that's a bunch of inspections.
through it.
Done a lot of
got any
inspections.
questions? If you guys had a chance to,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, man. I can't believe the number of inspections you've done.
It's
yes.
been a little busy. We have the permit extensions is a little high this year. I sent out expired permit letters to 401 contractors. So we can, the governor allows us, did a statute a couple years ago that we could close out any permits that were more than 6 years old internally, as long as it's not a life safety issue. So we've done that, and the software that we have currently doesn't give us things that say, hey, your permit's about to expire, which the new software does.
That's great.
So, but in order to do the transition to the new software, I wanted to get these kind of cleaned up. So we've closed out a little over 100 expired permits since I sent that letter in April. So, you know,
But like I said, with the new program now, we'll get the notice, and you'll be able to send the notice saying, hey, we
correct.
haven't had this finished, we need to see.
Yeah, it'll actually give your permit's going to expire in 30 days, and then it'll give your permit has expired.
Okay.
So it'll give them notice that they need to do something before it's expired, and then once it's expired, then they have to file the
So
extension.
this is mostly the contractors, right, that let
Yes.
these things go? Wow.
Any actions that you guys take? I mean, like, do you go look to see if they're still working after it's expired and red tag it or anything, or?
We do. There's just they're required by state statute to call in their inspections when they're ready for them. Sometimes they fail their final inspection and they don't bother to follow through with calling in for another one. They just kind of let it go. So it's kind of a combination of either they don't call them in or they failed them and they don't bother to go forward. So Yes, so that's usually when we catch that their permits have expired or that they're, deficient. When they go to sell, if they do a title search, then they have, it comes up that it still has open permits on the property. And most of the time, the bank won't allow them to sell and go to set closing unless it's been closed out. So then we go in and do our final inspections, make them fix whatever issues they
Cash
have.
deal, they don't do a title search.
Correct.
could slide
And
right
then they
by.
get mad and they go, what do you mean I have an open permit? So,
Okay,
so it usually gets caught at sale or, if something comes up and,
You're watching some of the flipper programs on TV, you know, run into that all the time, they start to do something and, say, oh, what happened to the building that's not permitted, you know?
or they just don't get permits, so.
Wow,
congratulations on your new license.
Thank you.
wow. Are you, so you're a real plumber now?
Real plumber? Yeah.
So I had my residential, because so plumbing, electric, mechanical, and building residential, I had gotten all those certifications years ago. And commercial plumbing came up, and I was like, why not? They, in order to train Mike to be a plumbing inspector, he's got to do 80 hours of classroom work and then 120 hours in the field work, but unless I'm certified as a commercial plumbing inspector, I can't train him for the plumbing inspections. So I decided to get my plumbing inspector license.
Wow.
We can
So-
call you to fix our plumbing. huh?
No.
Get it for free.
New stuff all day long. I'm not touching that stuff that you people use.
My brother used a 75-foot snake yesterday. to
Oh,
clean
my
out.
gosh.
Oh, my God.
And it was at 74 feet, right?
Yeah, it was about that, yeah.
And you don't want to see what comes out of the end.
Yeah, we don't want to
And-
know.
No.
That's
All right,
not
so no
good.
further questions of Terry?
All good?
Okay, all right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Okay, well, let's go to Public Works next, because he always wants something.
Only sometimes. I told you no many times this year. Good morning, all.
Morning.
So, did you guys read this?
Yeah.
Any questions? I have a few. I'm the beg. Yeah, no questions on this, but I guess a few update I did forget to put in there that we are still continuing to sanitize this building and our annex. I mean, it takes a guy, a couple hours on the weekend once a month. So, I mean, it's unless you want us to stop that. I mean, we just kind of, I think it's just a good idea anyway. I mean, nobody's, I mean, up to y'all, but I mean, it's just it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
How many
And plus-
hours does that take to do both
Yeah,
of
that's
those?
what we're talking
Oh,
about.
about 2 hours a
Oh.
month.
That's not
But
bad.
in reality, it's only
Yeah.
sanitized till the next person walks in the door.
Right.
Well, that's supposed to linger. Well, yeah, I mean, you're still,
Yeah.
that's just one of those things up to y'all, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Carly, how does staff feel about it?
They appreciate it. They appreciate it, but
Okay.
Seems to be working.
no, I mean, that's my thought, just like you said, it's, 2 hours a month.
I think let's carry it out for a little while longer, maybe we'll bring it up again in a few months.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I mean, it seems to just,
We'll see. Yeah.
yeah, it was just one of those things.
Question for you.
Yes.
What type of complaints have you been getting?
Most of them are just simple stuff, reclaim water, can you go and, a sign bent, or, nothing, none of it's major, it's all,
Just all the minor things?
yeah, nothing, like we had one Carly sent me this morning, and it was for, it was actually City of St. Pete, what was that, the depressions in the
Yeah,
road
just
around
the
and I took
state
it,
of the road.
they're already coming out to look at that, a lot of little stuff like that, none of it's,
I'm
nothing's
assuming
major.
that Duke Energy's gonna come back and fix some of these big holes in the sidewalks and stuff where they put these poles in?
I would assume, they're gonna be here for a while, so I would, and once,
Yeah,
You know, like Pasadena Avenue, you know, that's all state, but I will, you know, I'll, you know, wherever
I
they
decided to walk
bid.
here this morning and luckily I was paying attention, but there was a nice big hole that would have probably went down to my knee.
Oh, wow, okay.
Around one of the poles, and I was like, well, it's a good thing I was paying attention, but it
Yeah,
was.
well, I'll have guys go and check that, cause if it's as
Yeah,
simple as just
I think
putting
it
dirt in
was
it for
just
now.
before you get to, the horse and jockey.
Gotcha.
So
No,
is it with the guys
not
that
sure
are
of
putting
that.
up the poles, or
that's Irby, Duke Energy's, contractor.
why would they leave it like that? Is,
Yeah, no, exactly. No, but
I was afraid they'd fill it
I'll,
with dirt or something.
yeah, no,
My
but
fault.
I'll have,
But then again, maybe they did, and maybe it got washed out.
yes.
Who knows, because of the rain and whatever
Just
else
don't
has
forget.
occurred since that was put in.
Yeah, and you said it was by Horse and Jockey,
I
right?
think it was down that way.
Yeah, no, I'll have them go check it out. No, ma'am. Not yet, anyway. Jockey.
Okay.
And then,
What else you got?
and then, I had spoke with, Jim, you know, just to continue our, shop expansion. There was monies left over in our, elevator, repair. And, I would just like your permission to use that to get the project started, and probably like, August, September, where then I have money in the budget for October, and then continue, and then just get the whole thing completed, you know, kind of just splitting it, you
What's
know.
the total cost gonna be on this thing?
14.7 or 14.8, and then the other one is like 14.8. They're both right there. I had to beat him up some to get him. I beat him up.
Around 30 grand for the
Yep,
whole
about
project?
30, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I mean, our new guy just started last week, and you know, our shop is, you know, the break room. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
14.9.
it's
I know,
tight.
you ain't got much
14.9.
room.
Yeah, it's tight.
Okay. All right.
You
Yeah,
know.
everybody else good with that? Let me go ahead and get
Okay,
started.
not much appreciated on that.
Perfect.
What else? And then just an FYI, next week, if you see, we're gonna, start trimming our palm trees down the avenue. And I'll make sure you get photos and stuff of that, but yeah, we do that every year anyway, you know, ahead of hurricane season, and kind of, this year we're a little bit later, but with all the fluorescents to grow, a lot of times we cut them in May, and then we gotta go back out there and trim some of the fluorescents to grow, so we just waited a little longer this year just to, you know, see if that would save us from getting back out on the road again, because, you know, the least amount of time on that road, the better.
So, backing up again, so the complaint that I received, that I passed on to you guys about the restrooms being locked over here in the park, and I saw your response back. So, I assuming they're open the same hours on the weekend?
No, but what I have for that is, I spoke with, Abel, our locksmith,
Yeah.
and he's going to come out and speak to me and Tim about that. But they have battery-powered automatic door locks.
Right.
You know, because we don't have Wi-Fi down there. You know, and to do a Wi-Fi door lock, then you know that's another $100 and some
Lock it at a
per
certain
month.
time and then relock it.
Yeah, so we can, you know, adjust the time with the battery, and you know, we could like open
But
it
if
at
somebody's
7.
in there, they can get out.
Yeah, because there's a, yes.
sure
No, that's
Set it all
already,
back.
no, that's already, no, because you can unlock it from the inside, but yes, I'm in the works of, getting that, and that'll be handled. Then we can always adjust, like with the time change, so, you know, daylight to dark, the
we can
bathrooms
have
can be
them open
open.
a little
Yes,
longer.
yes, and then set for the weekend and everything, but yeah, that hopefully here in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah, I
that'll
just
be
didn't know if the
completed.
guy that was coming in doing the sanitizing was also opening up the bathrooms on the weekend. on Saturday.
Yeah, no, because it's only a once a month. No, usually, you know, we get calls all the time for, to rent the pavilion. You know, people do birthday parties over there. And then, you know, what we have been telling them is just, hey, you know, when you're gonna do this, call us on the Friday and remind us. And then a lot of times we will unlock the bathroom, and then they'll stay open for the weekend. And knock on wood, we've been lucky. You know, there's been no, you know, when it is open on the weekend, you know, so that means it's open 24/7 for the whole weekend, and we've had no issues in a while now, so
Did
that's
the
that's a
gentleman
plus.
respond back to you guys?
I have not heard from him, no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
But, and I have him in there, and once the door locks are replaced, I will hit him with another one and say, hey, we got.
Just let him know.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Perfect.
But yeah, that was like about $1,200 you know,
Yeah.
to do those, you know.
Well,
but
I mean, they're there to be used. and-
It's better than the Wi-Fi ones, because then that's constantly, you know, then that's over
Yeah.
$100 a month.
Well, I know
just
we used to
that.
have problems with people taking the paper towels.
Oh,
taking
yeah.
the toilet
Oh,
paper, taking
no,
all that kind of
yeah,
stuff, so,
yeah,
but.
yeah.
So the light stays on in there all day, is that what, inside the restaurant?
No, there's lights on the outside that are on a timer.
But I mean, when they go in, it's.
Oh, yeah, there's a light switch in there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because the reason why I said it, the marina we've been to, it's on the timer, like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
power. Well, I didn't realize it at the time. I go get in the shower and all of a sudden there's no lights.
Oh, wow.
That's the problem with sensors, too.
Yeah,
Did the
yeah.
water go cold too?
And I love the.
But yeah, so hopefully that, you know, that should work, and then, you know, then we could get the normal use out of that, you know, pending, you know, no more destructive stuff in the
Love the
bathroom.
new cat hurricane signs.
Yes, we're waiting
They're
on,
great.
we're waiting on a few more signs we should have this week, and then we're gonna put even at Oleander where some of the existing ones, we're gonna put them on both sides of the pole, where you can kinda see them both ways. And then I will have, pictures for Carly, and then she can put them all on Facebook all in one shot,
Right.
you know, cause those do look good.
Scary.
Yeah, Tim
Great.
was, the guys were putting the pole on, Shore Drive, and somebody was coming down there, and the lady stopped, you know, and she was just like, wow, are you trying to scare the heck out of me, you know? And he's like, well, yeah, you know, I mean, you get a,
Mike, you see my Facebook?
I did, yeah, I saw it, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, you just get a sight of reality with
Yeah.
those signs.
We're gonna do a whole spread in there, like on the Facebook page, once they're all up.
And I'm hoping either, if not the end of this week, the beginning of
I
next,
mean,
and then
not
we'll be
even,
doing
I
it.
mean, the 5 is terrible, but
Yeah,
even the others,
Yeah.
you know, where we all
and they're
live,
pretty close, you know, we
it's
got
pretty
the,
scary
It
as
is.
it goes up
Very
the
Yeah.
hill.
yeah, we got the flood elevation things from online, you know, so they're not to the inch, but they're
Boy, they're-
pretty darn close. It's
Right
enough,
on the point.
it's enough to,
Hammers it in.
yes, yeah, it's
I
just
saw-
enough to
well,
make
walking
you
this way
think.
This morning, I saw that one over there by the park, and I was
Mm-hmm, yeah, it makes you think,
that's interesting.
you know, but those come out really nice too, so yeah, that's
Very nice.
After you look at that sign, look at what happened to Sanibel.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys I guess you're still in the process of doing the manholes?
Yeah, that's kind of, we do those twice a year, yeah, we're just they kind of stopped on those and went to the, storm, but they're just, you know, it's
Are
just,
there some that are located within the condominium associations?
no,
That
those
you
are all,
guys
that's all
inspect?
private, we don't check those,
Okay,
yeah.
All right, well, I know the county comes in to the one where I'm at, and they inspect all the manholes in there, so I didn't know if we had to do the ones.
No, yeah, I mean, like, we have like the same company that does our dailies and our monthly inspections on our lift station, they handle Harborside and Bay Islands, you know, for the lift station itself.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that, but yeah, no, once on the private property, yeah, we do not do that. Now, we do, like, our storm inspections, we go on private property and just look to make sure, no paint or anything is being dumped down the storm drains, because we do have to do that for our NPDS.
Good.
So it keeps the guys busy, they're always running.
So you got a boat list.
Yeah, just kind of, I mean, you guys see it all the time anyway, but it's just, like the one over here, I think it was gone the last I looked, so they must have went on a trip or something, but there's one that pops over here every now and again.
Is Fish and Wildlife or the sheriff
I haven't
doing
seen,
random
I haven't
checks
seen,
out there?
I haven't seen
like
anybody
they
out there.
said they were gonna do?
Yeah,
Well, since I've seen anybody out there.
yeah, you got a
Just
good
like to
look.
call it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any of them. And luckily, I guess, I think the last two storms, your friend, what is that, the Oddball Fish? It was up against Fred Held seawall, and then I think after Wednesdays last week, it was up against Barbara Gilbert's seawall. And I was gonna call the chief and get a picture. I went out there to go take a picture, and obviously I don't know if it runs, but it was already moved off the seawall and back anchored out there, so.
He needs an anchoring lesson.
So a lot of those guys work together.
I think so,
And they'll-
yeah,
They'll
'cause-
go over and get somebody else.
Yeah, because they don't want the sheriff poking around out there anyway.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I don't see anything else. So you've got a meeting with Swiftmud.
Yes,
Is that
yes,
coming up?
yep, for that, that's,
July?
next month, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's if it's pretty simple, that's something that we could probably do right away. It just all depends on how they are. I don't even know what to expect with that. I'm not sure.
Sounds good. Thank
All right.
you.
Alrighty, thank you much, appreciate it. Here's your pen back for us.
All right, so let's bring the chief up. Let's get some public safety information. Good morning again.
So we're carrying 2 vacancies. Job market is very interesting right now. So I have some information collected. Carly and I are going to get together and come up with maybe a proposal to hire some folks and send them to paramedic school. That seems to be what some other folks are doing with some success throughout the county. So longest we've had a vacancy. We actually interviewed about 3 weeks ago. We did have one viable candidate, offered him a job, and he actually declined it. He was from South Florida, so we think it was more of a location issue than anything.
Do we pay for that paramedic school?
Well, that's what we have to discuss, right?
Okay,
And
so
that's-
right now, we don't.
No.
They do that on their own.
So what we've done historically, there was a large pool. You were able to interview multiple people, select the best. That pool became a little thinner, I guess, for lack of a better word. And we were actually hiring EMTs who were currently enrolled in paramedic school. So they were already in the school. They would simply finish out the school, and then, but even that has dried up. So most likely what you would do in this case is make that offer and say, we'll hire you as a firefighter EMT, start the probationary process, get you enrolled in school. My proposal would be that we pay for that schooling, but we would have a contract on the front end that described, what we would expect at the outcome, and then if
How much is it about?
ooh, I knew you were gonna ask me that. I will find out. I would hate.
Because I didn't think it was all that much.
It's not horrible. It is usually 3 semesters of junior college or St. Pete College. I guess it's not junior college anymore, but a community type college. So
And you said you'd give them like a 3-year period to get it done?
I think so because of
Is
the.
that fair?
It is fair. What you'd want to do is get them in the probationary process first. One, make sure they're a good firefighter, a good EMT. They're going to fit in with the
That's what I'm
department.
saying, yeah.
And then the schooling does take, like I said, 3 semesters.
After they finish to work with you a certain period, once if you pay for them to go to the school?
That's something we could
Yeah,
discuss.
I think they should.
And most places do, and what they require is either, what I've seen, and I've asked for everyone's kind of input on what they're currently doing so we could put together the best plan. Most of them are requiring 3 years after, and then if you leave during that time, that money paid by the city would be owed back. You could, there's language that says your last check could be held and et cetera to pay for it.
If they could get it and then just walk off.
True, right? And that was,
Something better came along for them, they could just leave.
yeah, we don't believe there's anything better, but some people, yeah.
But some people,
Yeah.
I'm misinformed.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea, I
Yeah.
think.
So we've got some work to do and somewhat of a time crunch, so we'll get working on
And
that.
that's a legal issue where the agreement would have to be something that is legal for them to sign.
There was, we get information from, I forget his name, but he's an attorney in the fire service, and we get the legal podcasts, and there was one on that recently, and it did discuss that if it is a condition of employment and you're required to get certain amount of certification, what he covered was that you don't, if that's a requirement, they can go to school off duty and you don't have to pay overtime or anything like that because it's the condition to get that certification. It's up to them to do that work and obtain that certification. So we would want to make sure that that's kind of spelled out also.
Well, and you still have them on a probationary period, so if you decided it wasn't a good fit, you could also release that person too, right?
You could, but that's the idea of this, is to find the right person and then to help them along with that schooling to get that additional
Yes.
certification.
I think it's good. I think it's the only way right now.
Yeah, and what we've done, one of the contracts that you have for the next meeting that Chris helped us review is from the St. Pete College. They added something in Amendment B that historically, if you worked for a department and you did your paramedic ride time, because there's hours you have to get outside of your normal duty, they were capped at 11 p.m. This would allow a member in that department who's doing ride time at that department to do 24 hours at a time. since we're open 24 hours, they could knock out their clinical hours that much.
Great.
Inspections are tracking well. We did do 2 virtual hurricane preparedness presentation on the Zoom and also broadcast that on our Spectrum cable channel. So we're hoping.
Can you tell what attendance was? Could you, through the Zoom, could you actually see how many people might actually have been?
The first one was not good.
Okay.
The 2 o'clock one, I believe we had 7.
Okay.
We advertised it on, Facebook, city webpage, email blast. We did have some good questions for those who did attend, and we're hoping that because we broadcasted it on the Spectrum, maybe we can't tell how many people watch that, but it would be an easy thing to watch there.
Did you get more attendance when you used to do them in person?
Oh,
Rather than condos and stuff?
100%. And I've thrown those invitations out, and that's the unfortunate part of that pandemic is everyone backed off. And I think there's still, even though it's over, just I don't know if it's habit, right? You got used to not doing that, and now we have to somehow get that in. But we would typically get anywhere from 25 to 35 when we did those live presentations. And what we would do with the condos is usually they would bring us in before a board meeting because you've already have people that are going to attend that anyway, especially at the mobile home park. And we would have packed rooms. So we'll get that back out there. And then that's a good segue into the last page. One of the biggest takeaways from the hurricane conference was, we tend to see, and they're getting so much better at the predictions, right? In fact, this year on the National Hurricane Center is going, in addition to the 2-day forecast and 5-day forecast, now it's at 2 and 7. So, right, as the information is computers become more powerful. They've fine-tuned their prediction skills. They're broadening it out. The cone's getting narrower, but not to focus on that line in the middle of the cone. Remember the error cone we have, and what that represents is a 2 in 3 chance that it's inside the cone, and a 1 in 3 chance that it's outside. So what they're saying is focus more on the watches and warnings. It's good to see the cone and the potential, but you hear from Hurricane Ian, well, it was supposed to go north of Tampa Bay and it hit Fort Myers. But if you look at the track, and that's what I did with HurrEvac, we go back in time, we can lay the forecast track over top of the actual path, and you can see it never deviated outside of that error cone. So in theory, they were inside that cone the whole time. Now, if you focused on the average, which is that line in the middle, of course it looks like it went north, but with our state, and with the cone, you kind of have to be prepared, all along the coast. So, and then we also looked at what time the storm surge watches and warnings occurred, and those are the very important things that why we evacuate right here in South Pasadena, run from the water, hide from the wind. Those are the ones we really need to focus on. If we see a storm surge warning or a watch, we need to heed those warnings, and then of course the evacuation order from Pinellas County.
It was very concerning when some of the meetings I attended after Ian had hit, and they were talking about the people that just didn't show up to the shelters, they didn't have the responses, and if it would have hit here, it would have been such a disaster. From prior storms where people actually paid attention, actually went to the shelters, and this last time they just didn't do it. They just sat at home and waited for it. Very concerning.
It was, yes. Of course, we're working on budget, and then a very interesting one, and Sean helped me out with this through Public Works, but we were getting complaints from the business owners right there at Majestic and Pasadena. When they would work in the business, they would see some folks walking across Pasadena with the crosswalk light, and then it would time out before they made it all the way across. Thought it was a dangerous situation. We simply added 15 seconds with the help of Sean, and went back and followed up with the business owners, and they said perfect. It's more than enough, and it made all the difference in the world. So felt like that was kind of an easy one there. Yeah, and I think the people are happy with that. And then of course the station, I only picked random 4 photos, but we are getting updates all the time. We are on schedule with the project. Got an email last week. Always scared when the title of the email is "Don't Panic Yet." But anyway, they're having the glass is a little delayed for the station, so we're going to rework the schedule. He thinks it's still going to be okay. We will be occupying the station on time, but it's going to require some creative work with the schedule to keep everything moving. One of the neat things is next week, I believe, or the week after, what we're going to do is, because this station has a polished concrete floor, there's no carpet, no tile, the concrete is the finished floor, they're going to pour us 2 samples. So they're going to do one with just the color of concrete and the polish, one with a gray colorant, so we get to see what it actually looks, the finished project. And then they'll buff both out with the 2 different finishes we're using, one in the station, one in the apparatus bay. So we'll get to pick the exact floor that works
Do
best
you
for
remember
us.
what they used when they did 43 over?
Polished concrete with a brown stain.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
And what they did there, and you see this, and I think, you know, working with our superintendent who's been doing it 40 years, like, he's seen a lot of this stuff. So it was very important for him that we do since we're doing polished concrete, we pour the entire thing at one time. When you don't, you have variations in color, right? You pour the concrete different weather, whatever. So we will make sure we're ready to pour the entire thing. Once we pick the color, at least we'll have uniform color throughout the station.
We just had our walkway done by the shuffleboard courts in the concrete polished concrete. It is really pretty. If you ever go by there, look at ours, what they did. They even put a little bit of design in it, the lighter color and the darker color. It's really nice.
Okay. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, because if you guys know, the carpet's a mess, and it's just not
Yeah.
good in the EMS world. Yeah.
That's something easy to clean up.
Yeah.
So the colors that you're looking at, they're just a solid color or clear? Is that what it is? So either clear, you can see the concrete underneath, or a solid gray, or a solid
So
whatever?
yeah, the concrete by its nature has kind of a gray, and that's what we wanted to go with the flooring. But it's spec'd out with a gray colorant added to it.
Right.
So what we want to do is see both and make sure we're just not going too dark.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just know I've had these types of floors put in other places, and I know you can get all type of artistic looking, like things with brown, with gray swirls and stuff like that. And with our city going towards a more artistic approach to its appearance, didn't know if the floor in the fire station could be something a little more fancy.
It'll
It's
have
usually the same cost, so it's why.
Yeah, if you use the colorant, the grays are like a blending. It's not like you just painted it solid. You see, right, I guess swirl, for lack of a better word. So we'll take a look. But yeah, I think you're going to be very pleased with this modern look of the station, even if it is a gray. I mean,
It's gonna be
there's some real neat things.
So
that
it
we-
goes through to all the rooms and the bathrooms and everything when they pour, the whole thing.
What you'll see in the bathrooms is they'll do tile in the showers over it,
Yeah.
but the floor itself will be that. And then we went ahead and added floor drains in the bathrooms, the kitchen, areas that you want to deep clean with, some hot water and wash into it.
They had that for 43 when we went to see that. It was really nice. You could literally spray the bathroom down with a hose, the way it was done.
So
It was
when they're
pretty good.
stepping out of the shower, will that be slippery for them? Should there be something right when you
So
step out of the
that's
shower?
the finish we talked about, and the 2 different finishes.
Right.
One is rougher grit than the other.
Right,
Like they do in garages.
yeah.
Sometimes they'll use that grit
Yeah.
so that you don't slip
Sand, yeah.
if the floor gets
Same with the
wet.
apparatus bay floor, because of, keeping water in the tanks of the fire trucks, and you
Yeah.
do have water from time to time, so you have to
That
be
makes a
careful.
big difference.
Anybody got any further questions of the chief?
I love it. Great.
All right, thank you. Okay. So let's jump into finance. Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, let's save you for last, because are we gonna go into budget after that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got one more thing. Come on up. We'll finish this up, yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
Questions, or there were a couple things on here. One item on here, Neighborly Senior. It's Neighborly Care Network now, evidently. We did get a letter from them. I attached it, and they gave us some, I believe, 2022 statistics, and then I had in my file last year, so I gave you a copy of last year's just to compare. But
Well, we budgeted 2,500,
we
right?
budgeted 2,500, yeah. It was 1,000 the year before. I did pull the minutes, and it looks like the intent was to give it to neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah. I think we budgeted 25, we should just give them the 25 and. I mean, they do a lot for us.
So I'll go ahead and get that processed and out in the mail to them. We did get our 2022 firefighters pension report filed with the Florida Division of Retirement. I attached for your review financial statements that I do internally, and just kind of give you some highlights there. It was a tough year on returns for the fund. If you look at the statement of revenues and expenditures, you see down toward the bottom, you see unrealized loss on investments was $1,611,699. So those are losses in value on stocks, bonds. They're unrealized because you haven't sold them, so you're kind of waiting for the market to recoup the best you can. So that was the main contributor. So the fund balance basically decreased $1,355,954.50. Brought down to a fund balance of about $6.9 million. So you can see on the revenue expenditures, revenues, firefighters contribute money, about $95,000. State of Florida sends us a check once a year. It varies, but it was $53,000 for 2022. City contributions were about $473,994. And you can see the dividends and interest and some actual realized gains when they have to sell off the investments, basically to pay some of these expenditures. Those are the gains that they recognize in the sales. And then you can see the pension payments were about $576,000. Expenditures, the administrative expenses are about $104,245. So we did get that filed. Again, it was a tough year, it looked like to me, just in terms of returns. So the other item that I just wanted to mention, I think item number 6, what we did for the American Rescue Plan Act funding is we kind of designated that we were going to use our payments for Biltmore and the architects Wanamaker and Associates. And we threw in a water line and paid City of St. Pete $35,000. And so through May 31st, we've actually, those expenditures are $2,250,807. We need to allocate about $2,531,599. So we're, with these expenditures through May, we only have about $10,792 to basically absorb and say that we've used our American Rescue Plan fund. So that's about done, and then once we do that, we'll start drawing off of our loan proceeds that are in the bank right now, so. Yeah, so. Down at the bottom, when it, preliminary financial statements, capital projects, I just wanted to kind of mention or highlight that the numbers look like wow. Because net revenues over expenditures are $8,170,649. For governmental accounting purposes, we include the loan proceeds in there. The $9.9 million is in there. in regular accounting, typically, that's a loan, and it never shows up on an income statement per se. So I just wanted to let you all know that if we back that out and we back out the deferred revenue that I recognized for the American Rescue Plan was $1,072,925. The normal revenues is about $723,000. So that's kind of where you would sit. And then if you take those expenditures and you back out fire station, land, I also backed out the vehicle, your normal expenditures would be like 409,000, so 723 versus 409. We did have a lot of expenditures through that date. The vehicle was $1,270,110. That's showing on the books, and that's the rescue for, I think it was 225, and then the T20 ladder truck. So just those numbers, they kind of jump out at you, and just wanted to mention that. So other than that, I'll let you all ask any questions if there's anything. We did put financials on the back if you want to look at them. They give you line by line by department, so you can kind of see where we're at through the end of April. We did not in May, but we still have some revenue to book there.
Anybody else have anything for now? Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, let's see. Next is admin.
Do you need to come down there, or am I good up here? What do you want me to?
What's that?
You good if I stay up here, or do you want me to come down?
Oh, no,
there?
you can stay there.
Okay.
That's fine, yeah.
All right. I'll go through it real quick. Hopefully you all got to meet Mary Jo. So our new deputy back there. Brianna will be moving into her new role kind of the end of this week.
Okay.
So you'll still see her here, but Mary Jo is with us as our deputy now, doing a great job. So kind of going through first, I sent out some of the dolphin designs that we got back. I contacted 5 artists. I got submissions from 2. So the one page that has the 2 designs on it, that's from one artist, and then the other page that has just 4 images of one design. That artist has said that he had intended to put in another design, but I haven't received it. So I had let him know that it was coming before you all today, and I haven't gotten it yet, so we're just going forward, and if he sends another one, I can let y'all know, but I thought we would at least discuss the ones that that we got. The intention had been to kind of bring to you all whatever we received, and then if you're good with any number of them, we would put them out to the community to choose
How are we gonna do
the
that?
final.
What's the deadline on submitting these images to us?
I had actually given the deadline of May 16th. Actually, it was May 15th because I had originally planned to present this to you at the workshop on the 16th.
Right.
But Mayor, with you out of town, I pushed it back to the 6th.
Yeah.
And I've been communicating with him kind of in the interim, so I'm not sure if he is still planning to do that, but I at least wanted to move forward because I'm honestly not sure.
We're gonna do like you did this survey for the mural type thing for this type of.
So what I had planned to do is actually, depending on the number of them that we got and wanted to put out, because just because we got 3 doesn't mean we have to put out 3. We could put out 2, or I could, if you're not thrilled with these, I could go back and say, hey, please submit more. This isn't quite what we're looking for, whatever you want to do. I had planned to put them on Facebook. And then what I had hoped was actually, you all let me know if you think that our community is familiar enough with Facebook to be able to, you know how you can like something or love something, you know how there's different
Right.
options.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to have that be kind of the vote, or if it's just post the images separately and whatever had the most number of likes. So using it kind of that way, because I'm trying to drive attention to the Facebook page. So if you want to be a part of that, the point was like, you have to go on our
That's a
Facebook
good
page to
idea.
do it.
To help, yeah.
But I mean,
So-
would you know if one person went in and put 25 likes?
That's how, well, no, you can only put in one.
Yeah.
But I would be able to go through and compare the
Once you
list to
click
make
it,
sure
if
you
you
didn't
click it
like.
again, it unclicks it.
Yeah,
Yeah. so-
but
Oh,
the,
right.
so I would just have to check and see if people voted on two different images, which I can go in and just compare that. So my hope was to like rely on the Facebook page solely
See how
to
it
try to
goes.
get people to it. If you wanted me to have other options, we could post it elsewhere and people could
Let's try
vote
that Facebook thing.
via
That's-
email, but I really am
Yeah.
trying to get people onto that.
No, we need to try to get
So,
more people to interact with us via Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This-
that's-
This would be a great way to
I'm,
kind of
yeah,
drive
was
that
kind
towards
of
it.
hoping, so either post them separately and then it's just the total number of likes, or post, one post of it and say, okay, if you want this one, you like it, if you want this one, you heart it, a different
Yeah.
voting. So but my hope was to use Facebook.
Do you guys feel that we need to maybe approach another couple of different other artists? Or you think?
I think we've had plenty of time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we
Gave
can get
'em-
anymore. I mean, there is, I will say that, without trying to steer the vote anyway, the one looks too much like the City of St. Pete's logo to me. I was like, what do we got? And then I had to realize it's a different bird. You know, I mean,
Well-
it
Well,
was
that's
just,
our bird,
I
isn't it?
like
Yeah,
that
but-
because it's
Barbara.
bright and people will see it, but it also looks just like our bench.
yeah.
I mean, exactly like the bench, and it's too much, especially if it's gonna sit there next to the bench.
Right.
But I mean, those are.
And I kinda like that, but I think the boat needs to go away. And maybe just have a
Encourage people
sunset.
to start
That's,
bringing boats in.
yeah, I
Tom.
saw that and I was like, well,
Let's
we
get some more votes.
can't do it.
But as you notice, they all have our city colors.
Yeah, I like that one that you just held up,
And
actually.
this looks like it would stand out. The one sheet that they did up here, because of the way they're drawing it, I think why it looks so dark.
Yeah.
But I think if it was, I think it might actually be lighter, but she's got some kind of notes there too. She could add leaves and flowers will be added along with different hues and designated colors.
Yeah,
Designated
of the
colors.
designated colors, yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
actually
just-
like the one with our colors on it, but,
What the one at the bottom?
yeah.
Like I said, it's us, you know?
And it kind of promotes the benches at the same time.
Yeah. So we could just throw all three out there. Of course, they'd be able to provide you with something a little bit bigger, I guess. For the
Yeah, I
Facebook
mean, so
page.
whatever we're gonna move forward with to put out to the community, I'll reach back out to the artists and go, I need a cleaner
Yeah.
image of this
Yeah.
to be able to put out, but
Well, I would let this guy know that we are down to the wire if he's gonna put a second one in.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know how long somebody would need to do this. When was the last time you spoke to him?
last week.
Last week. Okay, and he said that's when he said he
He,
did
well,
something.
Yeah.
he communicated last week and then he sent another email yesterday that he
Well,
was
it's the
still
same
planning to
one,
put one in,
different
and when was the
views.
deadline? I was like, well, technically the deadline was
Same
last
one.
month, but I wrote back and I was like, I am
Yeah.
presenting these tomorrow, and he has not responded since then.
Okay.
So,
Do we wanna give him time to get a second one in?
I mean, I could let him
7
know.
more days?
Yeah, because we're meeting next
One more week?
next
Yeah,
Tuesday
maybe.
morning.
Yeah.
They tell next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
so
got 10 Tuesday
I'll
morning.
follow up with him again and
Yeah.
say,
You want me
he's
to
got
Then
till
I
the
would-
end of the week or
And then we
something.
can decide if we're gonna do all four, if we're gonna do just two, if we're gonna do whatever, and let the people decide. It just, I know this, you give people too many choices, it can become a nightmare. So, a couple of choices is usually the best way to go, and then we'll see what happens. But, yeah, otherwise, great,
Okay.
good.
I would also like to ask him, since that's the same individual, the one that's supposed to be sending another one, I would like to ask if he would update his existing design without the boat. If you all are okay with that, so I'll communicate both of those things that, if you could
Yeah, I think
update
that's a
this
good
to
idea.
remove the boat, because
Or
we
have
just
free
don't,
parking sign.
we don't
Yeah.
wanna
We don't want any more bugs.
just, yeah, there's too much controversy with boats, so I can ask him to do that and let him know that you've got until, say next Monday morning to submit a second one. So if you're okay with that, I
I
will
think
let,
just a sunset would be nice.
Yeah.
It's just-
yeah, so just,
Or have
yeah,
some.
just leave the rest of it as is, but just take the boat out, cause we don't want a boat.
Now,
So,
do we compensate the artist, who finally gets the design and everything? for
yes,
doing-
so
We have to pay him for it.
the pricing of these ranges from 2,200 to 2,800.
Okay.
So that's the range we're looking at for these, which we were told, designs can be anywhere from $500 to $5,000. So this is kind of right in the middle of the range that we were told, depending on the level of design, so. Okay, so I will follow up with him, and then I'll plan to follow up with you all at next week's workshop on the 13th in the
Okay.
morning, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Well, a lot of people come over here to sit and watch the sunset, and that's gonna be on the belly of the fish. Could be an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that the Facebook post announcing that we had gotten a dolphin and putting it out there is the Facebook post that we have gotten the most interaction with.
Really?
Oh, wow,
It's-
great.
It's gotten the most views, it's the most interactive with
Cool.
post, so people like that we have that, so.
Great.
I don't know what it says about the rest of what we're doing, but they,